can you solve this math challenge? Here's the question. Solve for the real value of x that satisfies this equation. Cube root of x minus 1 plus cube root of x minus 3 plus cube root of x minus 5 equals 0. Now you can pause this video if you want to give this problem a try. And now let's answer this question together. Alright, so given this equation, we want to find the real value of x that satisfies this equation. We have cube root of x minus 1 plus cube root of x minus 3 plus cube root of x minus 5 equals 0. So to answer this question, we will use one identity. Now it reminds me of this identity. If we have given that a plus b plus c equals to 0, so we can do these steps. But the most important thing here is we know, given that a plus b plus c equals to 0, then we have something like a cube plus b cube plus c cube equals 3 times a times b times c. Now this is very important. The reason is we have cube root, and if we let this term be equal to a, this term be equal to b, and this term be equal to c, and we cube this term, we cancel out cube root. Now, using this identity, we know this equal to 0, so we can let this a, this b, and this c. So we can use this identity. If we do that, we get something like cube root of x minus 1 raised to the power of 3 plus cube root of x minus 3 raised to the power of 3 plus cube root of x minus 5 raised to the power of 3 equals 3 times cube root of x minus 1 times cube root of x minus 3 times cube root of x minus 5. Alright, now the good thing here is we can now eliminate this cube root and this cube. So we can simplify this as x minus 1. Now we can eliminate this cube root and cube, so we can simplify this as x minus 3. And we can eliminate this cube and this cube root, and this will give us x minus 5. So we can now simplify the left hand side of our equation. Now we have x plus x plus x. This will give us 3x. And negative 1 minus 3 minus 5. This will give us negative 9. Now let's focus on this equation. Alright, and take note that this 9 is 3 times 3. So why not factor out 3 on the left hand side of our equation? So if we do that, we get 3 multiplied by x minus 3 equals 3 times cube root of x minus 1 times cube root of x minus 3 times cube root of x minus 5. So we can now eliminate this 3. We can divide both sides by 3, so we can cancel out this factor of 3. Our equation now becomes x minus 3 equals cube root of x minus 1 times cube root of x minus 3 times cube root of x minus 5. And now, looking at this equation, so why not make this x minus 3 be equal to cube root of x minus 3 raised to the power of 3. So here's the reason. Because we have a factor of cube root of x minus 3 on the left and the right hand side. So to use this common factor, what we're going to do is to equate this to 0. And now we have a common factor now of cube root of x minus 3 and on these two terms. So if we factor out cube root of x minus 3, this will give us cube root of x minus 3. We can use this. This is the common factor. Must be equal to cube root of x minus 3 raised to the power of 2, because we get 1 from these 3. And then minus cube root of x minus 1 times cube root of x minus 5, because we can now get the common factor of cube root of x minus 3. Now we can replace this expression. Alright. Now since it is equal to 0, we can use the 0 property. So at least one of them must be equal to 0. So we can say that cube root of x minus 3 equals to 0, or cube root of x minus 3 raised to the power of 2 minus cube root of x minus 1 times cube root of x minus 5 equals 0. Now let's focus on the first case. That is cube root of x minus 3 equals 0. Now if we cube on both sides, we get that x minus 3 must be equal to 0. And then we can now solve for the value of x. Let's add 3 on both sides. We get that the value of x must be equal to 3. That is our first real value for x. Now how about on the second case? So now let's add cube root of x minus 1 times cube root of x minus 5 on both sides. So this will give us this equation. Now take note that the left hand side of our equation can be written as cube root of x minus 3 raised to the power of 2. And the right hand side of our equation can be written as cube root of the product of x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 5. And take note, we have now cube roots on these two sides. Therefore, we can now say that the number inside this cube root must be equal. So we have x minus 3 raised to the power of 2 equals x minus 1 times x minus 5. Now we can simplify this. X minus 3 raised to the power of 2, we can simplify this as x squared minus 6x plus 9. And we can multiply this using FOIL method or chunk method. We get that x squared minus 6x plus 5. Now, this is very interesting because we can cancel out x squared on the left and the right hand side. We can eliminate also negative 6x on the left and negative 6x on the right. So this will result to 9 equals 5. And we know definitely 9 is not equal to 5. Therefore, this case is not possible. Therefore, the only real value of x that satisfies this equation must be equal to 3. And our answer to this question, what is the real value of x that satisfies this equation cube root of x minus 1 plus cube root of x minus 3 plus cube root of x minus 5 equals to 0? And our answer is x equals 3. And as always, we are done.